wanting to advertise as much as they possibly can on Facebook. It's just reiterating what you said, and us trying to be that strategist in the room and have them focus more on different platforms that may be more relevant to their user base or to their current campaigns.
Yeah, if you're referring to GM, which is a huge, it was so well publicized when GM pulled out 2 days before the IPO. I think a lot of us thought that smelled a little bit like publicity seeking, and I think you'll see GM and every other car manufacturer. I think Ford came out and said, well, we doubled down on Facebook. So those sort of pros were not as well publicized as the few that sort of came off the platform. But I think any brand who would do that, does it at their own peril, that they're leaving a huge audience unattended to.
Let's also remember the reports that came out after the whole GM incident.
Are you guys familiar with this whole GM thing? Okay, just wanted to check.
So the reports that came out after was that GM was trying to get Facebook to do some very custom, high-profile, in-your-face advertising on Facebook itself versus using the tools and the ads that they have currently. And there was frustrations around that, and that is why they pulled out. Again, those were the reports that happened. Did it really happen that way? Who knows for sure, other than GM and Facebook. But
yeah, no, I believe everything I read, so that's exactly what happened.
Especially if it's on MediaPost.
MediaPost.
No, well, exactly. But you could argue that GM actually, or that Facebook did GM a favor, because I don't think that people on Facebook really want to see a huge homepage takeover. I mean, I really don't think that. Do we have any questions? Okay, hold on a second here. And just give your name, title, and social security number, and we'll be good.
Hi, Paul Kogan of Country Social. So we're seeing a lot of brands that have proven that Facebook can be effective in building an audience and generating fans. But I think the verdict is still coming in terms of can Facebook be effective in actually DR type campaigns and conversion, getting people to actually convert and buy things. How are you seeing Facebook being effective in working with you to move to those kinds of campaigns where if brands want to actually move people off Facebook and off site to convert or fill out a survey or any of the other things that they want
to do? I think that they obviously don't want you to move off, and I don't think that we would necessarily want to move off, right? So I think that we would want them to continue to engage in our platform. But I haven't seen any. We're actually trying to launch a new brand now and actually trying to use Facebook Store and selling things within Facebook. We're having some challenges with that, of course, but I don't think that they're wanting you to move off the platform, and definitely, in my experience, haven't been encouraging it. I don't think that we would want you to move off either, because if you're in the context of the brand and you're engaging and you're in that conversation, then we want you to stay there and continue to engage.
I would say that probably the most prominent evidence that Facebook has changed their tune a little bit in terms of how that you can monetize off of Facebook is the rise of the Facebook Exchange, which, if you sat in the last panel, you heard a little bit about it, but adopting an ad policy that was really in line, frankly, with the rest of the web, which is when you're about to buy something, you drop off, we can now drop a cookie and follow you into Facebook and serve you a very contextually relevant ad saying, hey, come back and finish the transaction that you started. Conceptually makes a ton of sense. Of course, those conversion rates are going to be significantly higher. Early returns from beta partners who participated in that program back that up. So I think that's probably the first of many moves from Facebook to be more of a traditional ad platform.
There's even a larger, more strategic question up front, which is Facebook the right place? Is it the best place? Is it even a place to be doing direct response marketing?
Yeah, we haven't had any campaigns for our clients that their whole goal was to use Facebook to drive them off. But what we've seen, whether it's Subaru owners love dogs. It's crazy. They index like 200 index, so owning 3 or more dogs. But what we find when we seed our new videos before they're launched on TV there, we actually get higher conversion to our website from Facebook than from some of the video ads that we buy. And then conversely too, when we have an off Facebook campaign, like a dog walking map application we develop, we're seeing that the organic exposure through the Facebook newsfeed, or dare I say just word of mouth that you can't measure, is driving for more users, more new users than when we actually have paid support driving there. So I mean, we are seeing conversion both through Facebook and outside of it.
And that's despite the fact that you can't tag animals. I mean, if you could do that, then it would just be a gold mine. So usership go
Spot.
through the roof.
So do we have any other questions? So, well, of course, I have tons of them, but Jamie, I got to reference our email discussion the other day, but you can't promote your company too loudly. But, so Facebook comes out with this strategic platinum preferred developer announcement, and there were like a dozen companies, including Jamie's in it last week. And I just thought it would be helpful, and any of you guys actually can do this, if you could kind of draw the org chart of how this whole Facebook preferred developer thing works, because I felt there was a stage with doing all these social shows as I do, where like everybody was like the Facebook preferred developer. Like I felt like if I went on the site, I would find out that I was one. And but obviously they picked these dozen companies. There's still the whole other layers. I mean, how do they do that, and what does that mean for a marketer? I mean, so I know Jamie, that's
It's a softball. I'm not trying to.
I know. I mean, it's not meant to be, but it's confusing.
No, it is confusing. I mean, just the history, and you had sort of hit it. Facebook launched a preferred developer consulting group in 2008. There were 13 companies in that. 2009, it became 50. We were part of that group. Then it swelled up to 300 companies. They provided badges for companies, so you had to provide or prove or demonstrate proficiency in one of 4 areas. Pages, which is page management. The Buddy Medias and the Vitrues of the world really specialize in page management. Ads, which is Ken Shu's one, and a number of other firms who specialize in ad management. Then there's apps, which is the place that we started, create the ability to create applications, either custom or otherwise, that really drive business and insight. So companies applied based on their credentials, their client work, and their technology to become one of those partners. And how they chose the 13, I honestly don't know. I think it's proficiency on the platform and working with clients and always following policy. That's why it's so important to us as a company. But I guess the meta message here for me was the takeaway is, listen, when an advertiser fails on Facebook, that's very bad for Facebook, because they also talk to everybody, right? So the GM pulling out, if it were for more legitimate reasons, if it just had no ROI, then that would be a major problem for Facebook. And it's not always because no one wants to participate with GM on Facebook. It may be because they had missteps. They didn't think about the platform the right way. They weren't thinking about story generation and amplification. They were organized incorrectly to market on Facebook. So it behooves Facebook to make sure that brands are working with qualified partners who understand policy, who understand how to be successful on the platform, because that's good for business. And I think that's ultimately what that was about.
Anybody else want to add to that or no? Okay, you guys are good? Okay, well, so with that, please give the panelists a hand. Thanks a lot, guys. So it's lunchtime. You should look in your lanyard to see if you have any lunch tickets to like one of the VIP